Hey guys, it's Coach Allen, and I'm going to tell you how you prepare for a game. But when we talk about a pre-game workout, I'm also talking about pre-practice. I'm also talking about pre-workout. The mentality is not going to change. In fact, I would expect that you approach every practice and you approach every workout with the same mentality that you would approach a game. But to keep things simple, we're just going to simply call this the pre-game routine. And there's a few things that you need to know. First and foremost, your pregame routine doesn't start 30 minutes before you get to school or before you get to the gym. Your pregame routine actually needs to start the night before. And it's so important, first and foremost, that you're fully rested. It's vital that you get great sleep the night before any type of competitive environment. So again, whether it's a workout or a practice, your sleep is vital. It's also important that you fuel yourself the night before. I'm also a big believer in making sure that you are mentally prepared. So the unconscious that your body goes through before you go to sleep, being able to read something motivational or uplifting, or watch something, or run through your playbook, do anything that you need to do to prepare for the next day, you do it that night before. And if you prepare mentally, you get great sleep, and you eat well, now you've laid the foundation for the actual game day. I'm a huge believer in being in a routine and having set rituals and habits. So you need to figure out as a player, what types of foods give you the best result when it comes to performance. You should have a standard pre-game breakfast or the day of a game breakfast that you find gives you the most energy and allows you to focus on the task at hand. So you need to get up, you need to make sure that you're eating that breakfast, and then of course there's a wide variety of differences between what's going to go on during the day. This could be a school day, it could be a non-school day. This could be an afternoon game for a tournament, or this could be a night game for a high school season. You might have to play several games in one day, or it might again just be a singular effort. So I'm going to speak in rather generalities, but you can still take these and funnel them into whatever your exact system is going to be. So going back to the pregame, a few hours before tip-off, 3 to 4 hours, is when you need to eat your pregame meal. And your pregame meal should certainly incorporate some protein and some fat, but should have something in it that's going to help boost your energy levels. So some carbohydrates. But I'm not going to jump into the specifics of exactly what you need to eat. These will be things that you'll figure out over your career as you figure out your own body, you figure out what you enjoy eating and what gives you the best result. But you need to make sure that you're eating 3 to 4 hours before you play. That gives your body enough time to digest it and be able to use that food for energy. You also need to have some type of ritual to help you prepare for the hours leading up to the game. I've worked with thousands of players over my career. Some of them like to listen to music, some of them don't. Those that listen to music, some of them like to listen to something upbeat and aggressive. Others like to listen to something like classical music that's a little bit lower key. So just like with food, you need to find out what you need to do from a ritual and habitual standpoint in order to perform at your best. As we start closing in on the hours before the game, now it's imperative that we get your body ready. We're going to need to make sure that you go through some type of warm-up, something that gets you going through the primary movements of the game of basketball, something that gets you running and jumping and sliding and pivoting and lunging. And then we need to make sure that you go through an active warm-up. Now in just a minute, I'm actually going to show you a warm-up that you can do with little to no space. And remember, this right here is just the performance warm-up. It's also vital that you go through some type of skill warm-up as well to make sure that from a ball handling and shooting standpoint, from a passing standpoint, that you're ready to play. But we want to make sure that we go through this warm-up because we need to prime your body and your mind for all of the different movements that you're going to do when the lights come on and the cheerleaders start dancing. It's going to be so important that you've already gotten loose, that you're sweating. That's going to help lubricate your joints and loosen up all of your muscles and tendons and ligaments, as well as actually take you through the different movements you're going to need when you play. Now, I recommend going through your warm-up about 45 minutes before tip-off, and your warm-up should last maybe 15 minutes, anywhere from 12 to 15 minutes. If you have access to a lot of space, if you have access to an entire gym or a long hallway, that's great. You can do more movement-based stuff. If you don't, even if you're confined to a smaller space, there's nothing wrong with that. I was very fortunate in my career to work at two of the most prestigious high schools in the United States. Montrose Christian, which is where Kevin Durant went to high school, and DeMatha Catholic High School, which is where Victor Oladipo and Markelle Fultz went to school. And it didn't matter who we were playing or where we were playing, we made sure our players went through an effective pregame warm-up no matter what. And there were lots of times that we would play at a school where we had to do our warm-up in a classroom, or we had to do our warm-up in the locker room, or in a very small hallway. So don't use space or time as your excuse. 45 minutes before tip-off, you and your teammates should be going through a very intense and structured warm-up. Now I'm gonna give you a couple examples of some things you can do with limited to no space. So just imagine right here, this little square footage area, I could be in a classroom, I could be in a locker room, it doesn't matter where I am, but I don't have a ton of footprint to use. So I can't do a lot of sprinting, I can't do a lot of sliding, so I have to make the most of this. So one of the things we can do is just a series of jumps and hops. So I can get my feet going back and forth. I'm just loosening up my ankles. I can get them going front to back. I can get some twists going on, just loosening up the core, loosening up the hips. And I know you guys always want to know about sets and reps. For this stuff, I actually prefer to go for time. I would pick one of these different movements and go for 20 to 30 seconds and then switch to another movement. But the key is to make it continuous. I want to see how much quality work you can get in a 15-minute warm-up, which if you're switching movements and exercises and drills every 15 to 20 seconds, that's going to pack a powerful punch. You're going to get a lot of quality work in within the 15-minute time. So now I just did some stuff on one leg. Or two legs. Now I can do everything off of one leg as well. So we can go back and forth, we can go front to back, we can add that twist in. Now we also want to get some movement in. So I can go from a body weight squat standpoint. So now I'm loosening up my hips. Anytime we're doing anything for warm up, the easiest thing to change is to change our feet. So I can go wider, involve a little bit more of my groin. I can go narrow, challenge my balance. I can go with a staggered stance or a split squat. Same thing on the other side. Then we can move to one leg. I can go palms to the ground and come up. So we're getting a balance component. The key is just making sure that we're moving. Depending on how big of our footprint is, I can even add in some basic movements like a crossover step and stick. Very short footprint, but I can still get some great movement in. Crossover step, stick. Crossover step, stick. Same thing with the slide. What you need to do is mimic as many of the 6 movements of basketball as possible. We have sprinting, backpedaling, defensive sliding, lunging, jumping, and pivoting. The more of those 6 movements you can go through, the better off you'll be. Then we can move to some active stretching. So we could do something like a series of alternating knee hugs. And again, these are just examples of what you can do. We can pull heel to backside. We can get a series for the hamstrings. And just notice that I just keep moving the entire time. Each one of these for 15 to 20 seconds. We can do a superhero reach, alternating from side to side. And as you can probably hear, even as I'm talking with you right now, I'm starting to get a little short of breath because my heart is beating. So we're getting the heart beating, we're getting the blood flow. You can already see I got a little bit of sweat going on. I am warming my body up. Now you can go through a series like that for 12 to 15 minutes. You should have a light sweat in every area of your body, from ankles to knees to hips to shoulders to core should be loose. At that point, you'd come back into the locker room for your coach's pregame talk, which might last 10 to 12 minutes. And then you'll actually go out to the court and go through your pregame warm-up for what you do on the court. From a performance standpoint, all of the dirty work should be done behind the scenes. I don't believe in using the 20 minutes that are put on the clock when you guys are shooting layups. I don't believe in using that to get your body warmed up and ready to play. At that point, it should be 100% skill focused. You should be working on your ball handling, your passing, your shooting, and your finishing. So all of the performance stuff is actually done behind the scenes. Once you hit the court, you should be 100% ready to play at the highest level possible. And again, it doesn't matter if it's for a game, for a practice, or for a workout. If you need to compete, you have to be prepared.